Such a great question. How can we create engaging content that stands out in a saturated market? And I think we can also say that the market's now saturated not only because people have worked out that content is a great way to grow a business, but also because AI has made it so much easier to create a large volume of, I would say, mediocre content. But AI can be used to create fantastic content. But I'm going to address this question of how to create engaging content that really stands out. Just one thing that you can do with your content is to always have some kind of compelling introduction. And this is from our in-house training for our writers whenever we work on client work. So again, I can't tell you how many times introductions are written hastily. We see a lot of introductions that start with a statistic, and we see a lot of introductions that start with a dictionary definition. And we don't see a lot of introductions to a blog article or a content piece that are really, truly creative and interesting. And so in our team, we try to do that very much. Why? Because if you start with a compelling, creative introduction, people are more likely to stay on the page and read it. And dwell time is an engagement metric that Google has said it doesn't really pay a lot of attention to in the past. But I think that with AI content coming through, Google might start to pay a bit more attention to those engagement metrics, such as how long does someone actually stay and read the blog content or whatever content it is that you're producing. So one of the things is to consider the perspective of your ideal reader. That's to truly put yourself in the place of that reader and to give them something uplifting as well. So again, another example here. You can read this. You can pause this screencast and read this. I won't actually read all of this out to you, but we often see articles that start with a dictionary definition, particularly when a new writer joins our team. It's just a boring way of doing it. It's a very lazy way of doing it, unless it's very specific, like what is a dog, then you can start with a dictionary definition. But if the article is not what is a thing, then you mustn't start with a dictionary definition. A positive affirmation and a story, and these are good examples here. This was for a client that had a moisturizer that was perfect for pole dancers. It had a lot of good grip with it, like natural skin grip with it, so people don't just slide up and down the poles. So in this case, the writer had originally written something about, it was quite negative. It takes you years of practice, you'll feel demotivated and frustrated, etc., etc. And, you need some tried and true tips. It's just so boring, really. But if you do something a little different and you try to tell a story, or you take a story from real life and you try to insert the reader into that story and really make them feel like they're part of the narrative, that will keep them engaged with your content and keep them reading. So here we go here. A very simple statement at the top. Do you remember the last time you've experienced a feeling of bliss? So in this case, this writer drew the reader in with a question that asked the reader to reflect on a feeling. She provided possible answers to the opening question. She subtly touched on the problem, immediately offered solution to the benefits, and then demonstrated that the article has those solutions in that transition phrase through here. So there is a very structured, specific way to write a compelling introduction, and it's this granular. Like when you work with a content shop or a content agency that really truly understands how to write, you will get this kind of output. If you just use AI, or if you use very inexperienced writers, you often won't get this output that really does capture someone's attention consistently every single time in every single article. So that's what I would say about working with a team like us. You can use an interesting layout in your introduction as well. Don't use weak transition phrases. So again, a transition phrase takes the reader from one idea through to the main body of the article, or the introduction to the main body, or from idea to idea. So transition phrases are also a way to make sure that the introduction is compelling. So that's it really. I've run out of time, but that's how you can create more engaging content that stands out in a saturated market, is by just getting the introduction right. There's lots of other ways, but that's just one very specific start to any content that you create. Okay, thanks for watching.